It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
And it's that time for our 26th edition, halfway through the first year of a cup of coffee with Will and Chris right here at Slumberland at the lake, and we're gonna get right into it this week. Chris, you had the shades on. I mean,
hey,
you doing all right over there?
I'm cool. I'm too cool for school, baby. That's right.
Uncle Chris is too cool. He's got his shades on. No UV damage for this guy.
That's right.
All right, first headline. It's a big one.
Big stuff this week.
Man, it's some important stuff too. The first story: Lake Ozark Mayor, Dennis Newberry, the write-in candidate, and aldermen tangle over posting city administrator job online. So this one has many different layers. We're going to try to unpackage this in a fairly quick amount of time. But so Dave Van D, he's been the city administrator for the city of Lake Ozark for a long, long time, and he is set to retire. Correct?
Yep.
So everyone knows that he's going to retire. Now you've got the assistant city administrator, who's also the director of economic development for the city of Lake Ozark,
and that's Harrison Fry,
right? Who's done a really good job since he's been appointed recently. He's a young guy, a transplant to the area, and the issue that these people got into at Mayor Newberry and this alderman was because Mayor Newberry wants to see them post this job online. They wants to see him open up a search.
See what's out there. How many candidates that are like awesome or terrible that you get.
To be the next city administrator. Well, it makes sense, just like a lot of times if the head coach resigns, the associate head coach is typically a pretty good candidate and first one for the job sometimes. Well, here's the issue. Newberry thinks that even though Harrison Fry's in there and he's done a really good job, he wants to see the city and the community, he wants to make sure they get the best guy, so he wants to open this up. Problem is, everybody, as far as the current board of aldermen, feel like they've already spent, I'm going to tell you guys an astronomical figure here, to find Harrison Fry. $22,000 the city of Lake Ozark spent with the headhunting firm Baker Tilly, and luckily they came up with Fry. Like I said, he's done a great job. So nothing against Harrison Fry, but he wants to open it up, does Mayor Newberry. Now this has been fought pretty adamantly by the current city council. As a matter of fact, when he reached out to Harrison about posting the job along with Van D, there wasn't a lot of action, and the issue becomes city thinks they're going to waste this money, this $22,000. It's interesting to wrap your head up. So I'm going to take you guys to the meeting that was recently had, and Dennis Klotzer, who is the president of the Board of Aldermen, he demanded that Newberry appoint Fry. He also heard from Pat Thompson. He also heard from Vernon Jaycox, other aldermen in the city that said, listen, he's doing a great job. They gave him an overwhelming endorsement, and they said, let's move this forward now and let's appoint him the interim. And Newberry said no. When he said no, that was met with a lot of fight back, in particular from Vernon Jaycox. Jaycox got so upset over this decision, he slammed his hands on the table and said, you're messing up a good thing here, and stormed out of the room. Now here's where this story gets ironic. So shortly after that, same night to be exact, Dennis Klotzer and KRMS, I should just say KRMS News, came out with a story to tell the community that a pretty admirable act by Dennis Newberry, Mayor Newberry, was he was going to donate his salary as mayor, which, let's be honest, it's not a lot of money, Chris. It's about $500 a month. He was going to donate that to Lake Ozark PD, to the deputies, which is an admirable move.
Very nice, something that President Trump used to do,
page right out of President Trump's book. And so that's a great thing, right? Well, the story showed you that there was some civil litigation and there was going to be a garnishment on Mayor Newberry's wages with City of Lake Ozark. Now, all they're going to be able to take out, and I want to make clear that this is not criminal, this is not something serious, I'm going to be honest, it's a medical bill. I found out after speaking with Mayor Newberry on the phone, and it's going to be taken care of. So there's actually going to be $48 taken out of his monthly salary. The remaining is still going to the police department at Lake Ozarks. So this was a story that was published and has since been taken down about an empty promise by Mayor Newberry not going to be able to fund the police with his salary. Well, it's not exactly true. 90% of that $500 still going, and I will probably suggest Mayor Newberry is going to be taking care of that. Not a huge issue. The bigger story is we still want to see those jobs posted, and they've since been posted. As Mayor Newberry told them, we need to get these posted. I'm not appointing Harrison Fry, and those have since been posted. They have about 4 months now to collect resumes and find out, is there somebody better fit for this job? Or if not, the great thing is we've got Harrison Fry, who's done a great job up to this point in time, will then be catapulted into that position. So the problem is, as I've said, they don't even think they should open up that job search based on the fact they spent that money. They have Fry sitting there. What's your take on all of that? And should you open up a job of this caliber to see what might be out there?
Yeah, from my point of view, I mean, Harrison Fry's done a good job, but why not open this up? See what kind of candidates are out there. If there's somebody better than Harrison Fry, why do you not want to bring him in? Keep Fry in his position. I think the mayor has said Fry's not losing his job. He's keeping his job. It's just a matter of whether he's the better to stay where he's at or is better who's to fill this position. So why not open it up and see what's out there? Right. And so it kind of makes you wonder, why is everybody else so crazy adamant about not doing that? Right. It's like the audits going on. You know, if you really think your candidate won, then why not open it up, look at it fairly, and see what happened? Right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense not to.
Right. And then at the end of the day, if you put out, and I like to use the football coach as a comparison here, because Harrison Fry, the associate head coach, he's done a good job. Yeah, Dave Van D, he's retiring. So, although I'd love just to appoint Fry, the new head coach, man, Andy Reid's now a free agent, and we may be able to entice him to be our head coach. Because listen, Lake Ozark is the greatest place. I mean, Lake of the Ozarks is paradise. If you talk about someone with experience and the kind of money and salary you're going to get in that position, you may really be able to attract somebody with a ton of experience and a ton to bring to the city of Lake Ozark. Work alongside Mayor Newberry, and let's see this city continue to grow, that being the city of Lake Ozark.
My opinion is, you know, crap like this is why people don't want to get involved.
That's right.
Right? I mean, why don't more people want to run for mayor? Well, because of this kind of crap, where you're giving of your time, you're giving the salary away, and all people can do is fight you and make it harder. Okay?
Right.
If you're screwing up, if you're doing it wrong, if you're a criminal, then good. People should be fighting you. But if you're upstanding, you're trying to do the best job, you're trying to do the best job for the city, why is everybody fighting you, making it so hard? Stuff like this is why people don't want to run for the school board. They don't want to run for mayor. They don't want to run for alderman because they figure, you know, I'm just going to have to put up with all of that. It's going to ruin my life.
And you know what's really sad about this entire situation? Something as simple as a job search that could have went, they didn't find a better candidate, they did find a better candidate. All the while, Mayor Newberry, working for free, is working on some pretty big things for the city of Lake Ozark. He was in a meeting yesterday with Ameren, Missouri, about getting this land that cannot be sold commercially turned into a huge, free and open to the city park with playgrounds, with camping areas, with fire pits, with things for the families to do, live music, things like that. And he's working on things like cameras on the strip, trying to get funding for the city of Lake Ozark to make sure that the entire strip is always in view of cameras that the city has access to, things that are going to move forward and make things safer. And it's unfortunate he's going to have to deal with things like this until something is figured out within this municipality as far as these people that have been here for a long time and may or may not have ulterior motives.
Well, and you can kind of understand, why Mayor Newberry might be doing this. I mean, he's new. Right? And he's going against an establishment that's been there for a while. Even this Harrison guy that might step into the role, Harrison Fry, he's been there for a long time too. Newberry doesn't know where they stand. Or do they have the same goal that I have as mayor? Are we going to work together? Are we going to be fighting each other the whole way? He's got to figure those things out, which is another tough part of that position.
Yeah, and most importantly, now by the time this is published, it's already happened, but it's yet to happen right now. And there's a big city council meeting Tuesday night where we will get another development in this story. Of course, can't tell you about it right now because it hasn't happened, but if you stay tuned to Lake TV's Facebook page, we will have, or did have, a camera in the courtroom or in the city council room at the City of Lake Ozark. So big story, interesting. Would love to see us move forward. Speaking of City of Lake Ozark, bike night canceled canceled moving forward,
Yeah.
but no plans to cancel Bike Fest. Right move?
Thank goodness.
Not the right move? What do you think on that?
You know, that's interesting. It didn't surprise me at all that Bike Night was canceled after the shooting, the motorcycle gang shooting a couple weeks ago. 1 killed, I think 4 others shot, about 20 shots in all on the Strip. First fatal shooting on the Strip, I believe, in the history of the Lake Ozark Strip. So, I mean, right after that, Bike Night gets canceled for the rest of this year. Not Bike Fest, but Bike Night. To me, it made sense.
Yeah.
You know, you hate to see that because, you know, Lake of the Ozarks is such an event-driven place, and we love these things. But if safety is involved and that was an issue, then it made sense to me. I guess I don't know enough about the safety issues. I know this last weekend when they had the funeral for the guy that was killed, there were a lot of questions about, you know, is more violence going to break out? What's the issue here? And thank goodness that was all good. So it's really sad that Bike Night goes away. But I think the main sponsor, a great sponsor, pulled out because they had some worries about that too.
Right.
So,
and probably a fair decision, whether it's right or wrong. It does probably give people just a little bit of peace of mind because it was such a bunched up night on the Strip during Bike Night. But it did bring into a lot of people's thoughts, and they were asking online, does that mean Bike Night is canceled? It doesn't look like right now they're going forward, and that's probably the right decision.
For Bike Fest.
Yeah, for Bike Fest in September. Huge annual event and brings a lot of people to the area. So I think right now the focus is just making sure everybody's doing their due diligence within their own establishment to prevent another tragic encounter like that. So another big headline this week, and Lake Regional responded to a lot of criticism they got locally, and their response and what they told the community in a letter, an open letter they published through our friends at Lake Expo. 22 dead in 23 days. They're doing the best they can. And Chris, really, I don't feel like the question ever was, are the doctors and nurses and administration within the hospital doing their best to treat people with COVID and do everything they can do? I think the question that a lot of people in the community had was about these 2 banned or not approved by the FDA, these treatments, ivermectin, and then I'm going to try to get this right, hydroxychloroquine is the other one that they're saying is not proven to help, and so it is not allowed, although it looks like other places are allowing it. A lot of people have had great response from those 2 treatments. It's kind of an interesting development. What is your take on all this?
Okay, so this is another one. I mean, we've got, boy, what a year it's been for news at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Crazy.
These 2 stories with, you know, the Lake Ozark mayor and the alderman, and now this, they're huge. I mean, these are huge in this area. Lake Regional Hospital is a big player here. I mean, it's a huge player.
That's an understatement. I mean, they are the primary care, only ER, you know, I mean, most things you can get are going to have to, in some way, shape, or form, go through Lake Regional. So this is huge. 22 dead in 23 days, unacceptable, right? So that's why there was an outcry, and that's why the hospital, Lake Regional, had to put out this letter of explanation. Basically, they're saying our care teams are giving all we have to our patients, but this virus is formidable. Sometimes all we can do is provide comfort measures. That may be difficult for families to accept. That's tough for me to accept, right? You go to the hospital to try to be cured, not to be comforted until you die. And again, they said today is this day. We've experienced 22 COVID-related deaths in 23 days. And again, you know, you go back to the whole start of the COVID thing. It's who do you trust for explanations? I mean, the CDC has put out a whole bunch of data information over the whole time, and most of the time they've had to go back and say, oops, we made a mistake, was that wrong, that didn't really. Everybody knows COVID related could mean you walk in with a gunshot wound in the head, but if you've tested positive for COVID, you died because of COVID, not because of the gunshot wound. That's ridiculous, right? It's all kind of ridiculous. But at this point, Chris, you also see people around us at an alarming rate getting COVID and contracting this new Delta virus. And so you start looking around and you're like, well, who do you trust? What is correct?
That's
is the news correct?
Part.
Is the CDC correct? Is the local hospital correct? I don't know, because this whole time you've had incentives and you have, you know, agendas, and it's like, I obviously don't want to fall victim to that and drink from the Kool-Aid. I also don't want to contract COVID and die or pass it on to somebody I love. So what's right now?
What a mess. And I talked to a doctor about this today. And I said, okay, so your thoughts on Lake Regional and everything like that. This doctor said most of the people, doctors, nurses, everything at Lake Regional, the great percentage of them are incredibly great people, awesome people. I think the problem is at the top, and not just at Lake Regional. He said, if the CDC tells me to do something, I do the opposite. And the American Medical Association, this is coming from a doctor, right? Saying if the CDC is telling me something, I usually do the opposite of that. So to me, that's how crazy things have gotten in our country these days, mostly because of politics, I think. I think a lot of it has been politicized, and you might have 90% of the people in the hospital that are great, but if it's the top people that are running it, giving it direction, same thing with the government or whatever.
And I'm not one to say that is the particular case, but I think when you hear him say we can only sometimes provide comfort measures, yet these two particular treatment methods, ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, have been proven to work in many people. And on top of that, although not approved by the FDA, you know that the vaccinations aren't even approved by the FDA except for an emergency situations, meaning you have to have a class 2 emergency to give them this particular treatment, which is the vaccination or many of the vaccinations. Yet there is no emergency when somebody goes and gets vaccinated and is being led to get vaccinated and is being compensated for getting vaccinated. So it just, again, I don't know what the right thing to do is. I don't know what the wrong thing to do is.
We hear that, the hospitals are getting paid a certain amount for treating certain people, COVID patients, or COVID deaths, they get certain amounts. So how are they going to report those deaths? Probably the way they're going to get the most money, you would guess. So, and this hydroxychloroquine, isn't that what they treated President Trump with when he had it?
Yeah.
Seemed to work for him.
Yeah, and that's just another overwhelming fact. But at this point, Chris, I really just want honest numbers, honest facts, transparency, and to find out, how many of those 23 that died in 22 days were vaccinated. Yeah. How many of them had existing conditions? How many of them were not severe COVID patients? I mean, those are things I'd like to find out, because really, I'm at a loss. We got to move on.
And just real quickly, I saw a post from a doctor from Lake Regional a couple weeks ago, said that 4 patients had come in. They immediately needed to be put on ventilators with COVID stuff. All 4 of them had been vaccinated. That's not saying much for the vaccination. Yeah,
because if you look at the CDC, whether you trust it or not, it is clear based on their facts that a very low percentage of people that are contracting the Delta virus have been vaccinated. And those that have been vaccinated that have caught the Delta virus have dealt with those symptoms better, if you believe what you read. So one more before we move on. Heat index expected to hit temps in the neighborhood of 110 degrees this week. That's why you got the shades, baby, trying to stay cool. And I'm telling you, that's insane. It's going to feel like it's up to 110. Already has started this week. By the time you see that, you're probably melting away in your recliner right now. And the cool thing is, our friends over at lakeexpo.com, they did put together a list of 6 tips for keeping your home cool on hot summer days. Uncle Chris, tell us.
Okay, these are from Ameren. Number 1, stay shady. Use curtains, blinds. Obviously, you don't want the sun shining in the house. Keep it breezy. Use those ceiling fans and fans. Keep the air moving. Don't cook, grill, right? Go outside, grill outside. That'll keep things cooler. Clean your AC ducts and replace filters. That helps.
That reminds me, we need to do that at the office, like ASAP.
We do. Reduce hot water's effect. And I'm like, what does that mean? A shower, take a cooler shower or a shorter shower. Upgrade your thermostat. And apparently Ameren's got some deals. You're eligible to get a Sensi Smart thermostat, maybe for free. So those are 6 tips for staying cooler this summer.
Love the folks over at Ameren. All right, time for a little inspiration. We brought the mood down, brought you some truth, brought you some facts, brought you some opinions, but it's time for a little inspiration from Uncle Chris, one of my favorite weekly segments.
You want to get off on another rabbit hole? How about the Olympics?
No.
You know how much of the Olympics I've watched? Not 1 second, right?
Me either, I love it.
Okay, so here's your quote of the week. Gold medals aren't really made of gold. Right? This is coming from Dan Gable, the gold-winning Olympian wrestler. He said they're made of sweat, determination, and hard to find alloy called guts.
Yeah, like it.
Wow, love that, man.
Well, I remember when watching the Olympics was something so exciting because you didn't really know who was competing. As long as you saw that red, white, and blue, you were so excited to see the medal be on the podium. It was cool even growing up because you only got to see it every 4 years, every 2 if you talk winter and summer. And when you'd see the medal count and you'd see United States up top, you know, it did bring you that sense of pride and maybe even move you emotionally. And now it's like, I couldn't care less about watching the Olympics in Tokyo.
I haven't watched 1 minute. And it's sad because I'm a huge sports guy and love the Olympics. Not this year.
Yeah, it's crazy indeed. All right, so that's great inspiration. We do have some big upcoming events. First and foremost, the first shootout event of the year is this Sunday. It's the golf tournament at at Lake Valley Golf Course. It's going to be big. You're going to want to sign up for that. You got to be there between 9 and 9:30. Oh wait, between 8 and 8:30 because it starts at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So $125 a person.
And you'll see Wild Will there.
Yeah, heck yeah. All benefits the Lake of the Ozarks shootout. Also, Friday, the Beach Boys, baby. They're going to be at the Ozarks Amphitheater.
Yeah.
And check out, if you see this before the concert, they're doing a really cool guitar giveaway signed by the Beach Boys through the Amphitheater's Facebook page. Also, we've got a car show this Saturday at Seven Springs Winery. As much as I'd love to tell you about it, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with my friend Shelby Laggy with Extensive Mobile Detail and Ceramic Pro Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, hey guys, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture. I was lost in my own thoughts there for a minute. It's so hot outside and you can't stay in the lake all day long. So what do? Come to Slumberland, get yourself a nice reclining massage chair and just relax in the AC. So come check out these massage chairs and all of our comfortable recliners so you can stay cool. Daryl Cunningham for Slumberland at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
And we are back with, as promised, Shelby Laggy, the co-owner and many things with Extensive Mobile Detail Ceramic Pro Lake of the Ozarks. And you guys are kind of chairing, you and Josh, your husband, are kind of chairing this first annual car show this Saturday. What can you tell us about it?
So the car show will be at Seven Springs Winery from 11 to 7. Registration the day of will start at 10:30. We will probably do judging around 3 o'clock, and awards will be announced then, and just hang out for the after party after that.
And you mentioned you guys had a pre-registration period, and that's closed, so you're looking for people the day of the event.
Correct.
Starting at 10:30.
Correct, yes.
And what kind of cars are we looking for this particular car show?
Any kind of car you want to submit will be completely fine. We have over 15 classes available, so you can pretty much pick any sort of class you want to be in.
Me and my Maxima could show up and be in the car show?
Absolutely.
Which looks great, by the way, because they put their ceramic coating on it for me. Okay, so I want to know how we can find out more. Of course, it's at Seven Springs this Saturday. And is there anything outside of the actual car show going on as far as vendors or food or anything like that?
All food and beverage will be provided by Seven Springs. We'll have sandwiches, hot dogs, hamburgers, wraps, that kind of thing. There will also be beer. Their patented sangria that is amazing. So they will have all that on tap. There will also be canned beer and soda and water available for the kiddos and the families that don't want to drink.
Very cool. Okay, so this is the first annual car show as part of the Missouri celebration coming up. And how did you and Josh decide to get involved with this?
We just love everything that Mary Kay and Tom are doing, and we just wanted to be a part of it and give back to the community and, you know, help any way we can. So we just decided to add this event to the big slew of events that's happening over the summer, and we're just kind of tag teaming on that.
And who doesn't love cars? You know, those gearheads are everywhere.
Absolutely.
And you can get wine, you can get beer, you can get good eats.
Right.
So, all right, so now that you're here with us, I want to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about your guys' business.
Absolutely.
Extensive Mobile Detailing, which means you guys travel to people.
Correct.
Talk to us about what you guys do around the lake.
So we have a 30-mile radius around the lake. We go as far as Jeff City, Camdenton, Versailles, Iberia, pretty much anywhere in between. And we can come right to you, to your home office, or if you're out, you know, having a day of golf, we can go right there and do everything for you right on the spot. We have water and electricity in our van, so we need nothing from the customer except their vehicle.
So when people say detail, you're just going to clean it out a little bit, you know, and give us something that smells good and send us on our way? Or are you talking like a deep clean detail?
We will give you a deep clean detail. We have different packages available depending on what the client is looking for, obviously, but we can go as in-depth as they want, and we can make that thing shine brand new and better than showroom quality if that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, and one of the things that you guys do that no one else really does, this ceramic coating that you guys have. Talk about what that is and why people might want to put that on their vehicle.
So the ceramic coating is wax on steroids, essentially.
Yeah.
So wax adds a layer of protection to your vehicle, but just like a crayon that's out in the sun, that wax is going to melt. The ceramic coatings last extensively longer, years compared to weeks or months.
Right.
Very, very little maintenance, easier to clean, as I'm sure you have experienced.
Much easier, yeah.
Also gives it a layer of shine that a wax definitely couldn't. So it offers UV protection and a whole slew of other things, including shine that you could never get from the showroom or a traditional wax.
All right, so we can show up to Seven Springs Winery this Saturday for this first annual car show. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have, just show up, have a good time. And then as far as plugging in and maybe finding out about scheduling a cleaning or a detail, how can we do that?
Absolutely. We will have a tent set up, so you can stop by. I'm sure you'll see me there. And we will likely run a special the day of. So if you book day of, we'll have a little bit of a discount available that we can do for a sort of promo, and we can get you on the schedule and get everything taken care of from there.
Perfect. That is Shelby Loggy. She is the co-owner of Extensive Mobile Detailing Ceramic Pro Lake of the Ozarks, and her husband Josh, they're actually chairing this car show Saturday. It's all for Missouri's 200th birthday at Lake of the Ozarks, so make sure you guys show up. We'll be back on Lake TV with Uncle Chris and I wrapping up for the week. Calling all thrill seekers. You've heard of Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, but have you ever thought of running your boat in the shootout? Well, now's your chance to dust off that life jacket and test your skills at the 2021 Lake of the Ozarks Shootout. Cruisers, pontoons, speedboats, classic wooden boats, and even PWCs, we want you. For more information or to register your boat for this year's shootout, go to lakeoftheozarksshootout.com. All right, love the folks over at Extensive Mobile Detail Ceramic Pro, Lake of the Ozarks. I did have to have a quick correction. Before I got to sit and talk with Shelby,
this is first time you've ever been wrong.
The Beach Boys, I said they're giving away an autographed guitar. Actually, way cooler than that. It's an autographed surfboard that you can get. So make sure you go over to the Ozarks Amphitheater Facebook page to check that out. Man, that car show is going to be cool on Saturday. Of course, Sunday with the Shootout Golf Tournament we told you about. And you saw that spot just a second ago to register your boat. You going to be running your pontoon this year in the Shootout?
Probably, yeah. I've got a big 150 on there. I'm sure that'll break some records, yeah.
It would just be cool on the TV broadcast seeing Uncle Chris and Aunt Michelle ripping the waters at what, 27?
Yeah, about 25 miles an hour.
25 miles.
See the Lake TV banners on the side of the boat? That'd be fun.
Yeah, baby. Lake TV Lightning. All right, so lots going on Lake TV this week. Of course, Bobby Spice will be back with Weekend at the Lake Thursday through Sunday. And we got a great guest on your community spotlight this week.
We've got Brett Menier, owner of the Performance Boat Center, right? Him and Mark Waddington own the Performance Boat Center. Just incredible people over there. So Brett is on the Spotlight show this week.
And great story, those guys.
Really,
man.
Great story.
From
how
Nebraska,
they came together.
Coming to the lake and building an empire. Pretty cool.
And in a short time, it's only been about 10 years.
Really,
since
they're responsible for redheads too.
So
love redheads. We got to give them
one
some
of our
love.
favorite places to go, and they've got a new place on the Strip too. So Brett Menier on the Spotlight show this week. Lake West Chambers Paul Hooper next week. Look forward to that. So and then of course what's burning with KB, right?
Yeah, baby.
Big news with KB. He is so popular. We've been asked to give another showing of his show.
So
we're going to do that.
We have. And now instead of just 7 a.m. and 11 p.m., you can also catch What's Burning at 5 p.m. 3 days a week, 7 days a week. New show Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Got a great show coming with him this week. We'll hear from Dan Wass. Also, he'll be gardening with Shayna Abishan at Share the Harvest, as well as other things. Man, what a week at Lake of the Ozarks. So much going on. Big shout out to Jill Ray and Daryl Cunningham right here at Slumberland at the lake. Come see them. Of course, our entire crew. This is Uncle Chris. I'm William Holtz. We'll see you next week.